In the shadowy corners of history, whispers of the Nephilim linger like a ghostly echo, a captivating enigma that has intrigued scholars, theologians, and curious minds throughout the ages. What if the legends speak of more than mere myth? What if they hint at powerful bloodlines interwoven with the fabric of our modern world? Today, we delve into a contentious assertion that three world leaders who have shaped the course of nations may share a lineage that traces back to these ancient beings, descendants of the Nephilim. But who were the Nephilim? According to ancient texts, particularly those found in the Book of Genesis, they were considered giants and the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men. This description has sparked countless interpretations and debates across various fields of study. What remains constant, however, is the intrigue surrounding their existence and the implications of their bloodline, if it indeed persists in contemporary figures of authority. As we embark on this investigation, we will explore the genealogical connections that have been meticulously uncovered by researchers and historians. Genealogists have painstakingly traced the family trees of several prominent leaders, revealing astonishing links to the Nephilim lineage. This revelation raises compelling questions. How do these ties influence their leadership styles? What historical narratives could be reshaped as we unravel this ancient connection? If you want more investigations like this, make sure to subscribe. In this documentary, we aim to shed light on the lives and legacies of three presidents believed to harbor this extraordinary ancestry. Each figure holds a distinct place in history, and their connections to the Nephilim bloodline could alter our understanding of their decisions and the broader political landscape. The implications are staggering. From shaping policies to influencing global events, these ancestral ties could extend beyond personal heritage and into the realms of power and governance. Throughout this journey, we will dissect the layers of genealogical research, from ancient texts to modern interpretations. We will examine the evidence that suggests these presidents may not only be leaders of their respective countries, but also bearers of a legacy that echoes through the millennia. As we peel back the layers of history, the story grows ever more complex, revealing a tapestry woven with threads of myth, reality, and the timeless questioning of who we are. As we delve deeper, consider this. If these leaders are indeed linked to the Nephilim, what does that imply about the future of leadership and governance? Can bloodlines influence political ideologies? Are we witnessing a continuation of ancient power structures? These are just a few of the questions that will guide our exploration. Moreover, the narrative does not solely rest on the shoulders of these powerful figures. The concept of the Nephilim bloodline touches upon universal themes of power, legacy, and the human condition. It poses the question of how past connections shape present realities. Are we merely products of our ancestry? Or do we have the power to forge our destinies regardless of the blood that runs through our veins? To set the stage for our investigation, we must first establish the groundwork of what we mean by Nephilim bloodlines. The connections we will explore are not merely speculative, they are grounded in genealogical studies that link historical figures to their ancestral roots. This analysis leads us to a deeper understanding of how these ancient myths can resonate within the dynamics of contemporary leadership. As we prepare to examine each president's lineage, it's crucial to keep an open mind and consider the broader implications of these findings. The exploration is not just about tracing names on a family tree. It's about uncovering the essence of what those names represent, a continuity of power that transcends time. What would it mean if these leaders are, in fact, connected to a line that has been shrouded in mystery and myth for centuries? Our first figure under scrutiny hails from a nation that has been a beacon of democracy and influence. The genealogical ties linking this president to the Nephilim bloodline are particularly striking. It invites us to question the historical narratives that surround him and the implications of such a connection on his leadership style and policy decisions. We will analyze the evidence presented by genealogists who have drawn these connections, examining primary sources that illuminate the lineage. But as we proceed, we must also confront the contradictions that arise. If these connections are factual, how do they align with our understanding of history? If they are metaphorical, what truths lie beneath the surface? These contradictions serve as a potent reminder that history is often more complex than it appears. The revelation of these connections could lead us down various paths, some of enlightenment, others of skepticism. As we consider the implications of the Nephilim bloodline on modern leadership, we must grapple with the tension between belief and evidence, myth and reality. This journey promises to challenge our perceptions and expand our understanding of the history's impact on the present. As we prepare to embark on this exploration, ask yourself, how do you perceive the significance of lineage and leadership? Are these connections merely a curiosity, or do they carry weight in the decisions made by those in power? We will delve into these questions and more as we uncover the truth behind the claims of Nephilim bloodlines. In this unfolding narrative, we will not only reveal the identities of the three presidents, but also explore how their ancestry might influence their governance. The blend of myth and history will provide a backdrop for a discussion that reaches beyond the individuals in question, resonating with the very nature of power and authority. So, as we begin this journey into the past, remember to keep an open mind. The past may hold answers to questions we have not yet thought to ask. The legacy of the Nephilim, shrouded in mystery, could provide insights that are not only fascinating but also crucial for understanding our world today. Join us as we seek the truth hidden within these ancestral connections. As we embark on this investigation, it is essential to outline precisely what we will unravel today. Our focus will be on 3 specific world presidents whose genealogical ties are believed to connect them to the legendary Nephilim bloodline. Each of these leaders comes from a different corner of the globe, bringing diverse backgrounds and political influences into the mix. This exploration will not only reveal their names, but also delve into the implications of these connections, highlighting how ancient myths could resonate in contemporary governance. The Nephilim, mentioned in ancient texts, have long been subjects of intrigue and speculation. Their lineage is said to intertwine humans and divine beings, raising questions about power, authority, and the very essence of leadership. If these leaders truly possess Nephilim blood, what does that imply about their decision-making, their worldviews, and the legacies they aim to create? This inquiry sets the stage for a broader analysis of how lineage can shape political ideologies and influence historical narratives. As we navigate through this narrative, consider the following questions. How do these bloodlines affect the way we perceive leadership today? Do they reinforce ancient power structures, or do they provide a new lens through which we can understand modern governance? Are we witnessing a continuation of historical patterns, or is this merely a coincidence with no real bearing on how these leaders operate? These questions will guide our exploration as we delve into the genealogical connections and their ramifications. The first president we will examine is a figure whose administration has faced numerous critical challenges, yet his roots are steeped in a lineage that may connect him to the Nephilim. Through genealogical research, experts have traced his ancestry back through a tapestry of historical figures and events. This connection has generated a wealth of debate as historians and genealogists sift through historical documents, records, and ancient texts to uncover the truth hidden within. This investigation will not solely focus on the individual, but will also consider the broader implications of such a lineage. If a leader is tied to a lineage that has been intertwined with myths of giants and divine beings, does that impact their governance? Does it instill a sense of destiny, or perhaps a belief in their superiority? As we dive deeper, we will draw upon the genealogical studies that connect these leaders to their ancestral roots, examining primary sources that illuminate their lineage. However, the path is not without its contradictions. If we accept that these connections are factual, we must confront the historical narratives that surround them. On one hand, we see the potential for a remarkable legacy. On the other, we face skepticism regarding the accuracy of such genealogical claims. As we explore these narratives, it's important to keep an open mind, balancing belief with the evidence presented. As we prepare to dissect the first president's lineage, ask yourself, what significance do you attribute to ancestry and leadership? Is it a mere curiosity, or does it have real implications for the decisions made by those in power? These reflections will inform our understanding of the ties that bind these leaders to their pasts. In exploring the ancestral connections, we draw upon the historical context of the Nephilim. These figures have often been portrayed as giants, both literally and figuratively, possessing qualities that have captivated imaginations for centuries. The mention of the Nephilim in ancient texts subtly invites us to ponder the weight of their legacy. Next, we will transition to examining the genealogical evidence and interpretations surrounding the first president linked to the Nephilim bloodline. What do historians say about these connections? Are there primary sources that can shed light on the veracity of these claims? How do interpretations vary among scholars, and what does this mean for our understanding of history? As we delve into these topics, we will encounter contradictions and challenges, forcing us to grapple with the nuances of historical interpretation. If these genealogical ties are merely allegorical, what does that imply about our understanding of power and influence? Conversely, if they are factual, how does that reshape our perceptions of these leaders? This journey is not just about tracing names, it is about uncovering the essence of what those names represent. The legacy of the Nephilim is complex, inviting us to consider how past connections shape present realities. We will analyze how the implications of these bloodlines permeate modern politics, urging us to reflect on the nature of authority and the continuity of power. As we delve deeper into our investigation, remember to keep an open mind. The past may hold answers to questions we have not yet thought to ask. The legacy of the Nephilim, entwined in mystery, could provide insights that are not only fascinating, but also crucial for understanding our world today. If you want more investigations like this, make sure to subscribe. In summary, the exploration of these genealogical ties to the Nephilim bloodline is set against a backdrop of rich historical narratives and contemporary implications. The questions that arise from this investigation will challenge our perceptions and expand our understanding of the ongoing relevance of these ancient ties in modern governance. As we uncover the identities of these three world leaders, we will also reflect on what their ancestral connections could imply for the future of leadership and society as a whole. Let's continue this intriguing journey into the past and uncover the truths that lie within. As we delve into the lineage of the first world president linked to the Nephilim bloodline, we uncover a fascinating tapestry of ancestry that has intrigued historians and genealogists alike. This president's family tree is not merely a collection of names, it is a narrative that stretches back through centuries, intertwining with significant historical events and figures. The quest to trace this lineage has led researchers to delve into ancient texts, historical records, and genealogical databases, revealing connections that challenge conventional understandings of history. The president in question is often cited for their leadership and influence, but what if their ancestry reveals a deeper, more profound connection to the past? The examination of their genealogy suggests ties to certain biblical lineages, particularly those associated with the Nephilim. This brings us to a crucial point in our investigation. If these connections are indeed valid, what implications might they hold for our understanding of leadership and power in today's world? Historical texts, especially those found in religious scriptures, allude to the Nephilim as beings of extraordinary stature and capabilities. Their very existence raises questions regarding the nature of authority and lineage. Are these connections simply coincidental, or do they imply a legacy of power that transcends generations? These inquiries form the basis of our exploration as we analyze the genealogical evidence surrounding this first president. Genealogists have meticulously traced the ancestry of this leader, revealing a lineage that includes notable figures from both the political and religious spheres. The implications of these findings are significant, prompting us to examine not just the names on the family tree, but the historical narratives they represent. For instance, one prominent ancestor is said to have been involved in pivotal events that shaped the course of history, lending credence to the suggestion that this leader's bloodline may carry an intrinsic legacy of influence. However, as we investigate these claims, it is essential to approach them with a balanced perspective. The narratives surrounding the Nephilim are often steeped in allegory and myth, raising the question, can we separate fact from fiction? Many scholars argue that while these genealogical connections may exist, interpreting them as indicators of divine right or superiority can be problematic. This brings us to an important contradiction. If these ancestral ties are to be taken seriously, how do we reconcile them with the notion of democratic leadership and equality? As we explore the genealogical evidence further, we must consider the interpretations that arise from different academic perspectives. Some historians emphasize the importance of context, noting that the way we view ancestry has evolved over time. Others contend that the weight of historical connection should not overshadow the contemporary realities of governance. This dichotomy is where the investigation becomes particularly compelling. The primary sources utilized in this genealogical research include ancient texts, church records, and documented family histories. By analyzing these documents, genealogists have pieced together a narrative that suggests a direct lineage to the Nephilim, but the interpretations of these findings vary widely. Some view them as a fascinating glimpse into history, while others approach them with skepticism, arguing that correlation does not imply causation. Moreover, as we navigate this complex web of ancestry, it's vital to ask ourselves, what does it mean for a leader to possess such lineage? Does it confer a sense of destiny or a burden of expectation? If we consider the historical legacy of the Nephilim, characterized by both awe and fear, how might that influence the leadership style of someone claiming such a connection? As we gather more evidence, we will explore the impact of these ancestral ties on contemporary leadership behaviors and decision-making processes. Are leaders influenced by their bloodlines in ways that manifest in their policies and governance? This question is at the heart of our investigation, as we seek to understand the implications of these ancient connections in a modern context. This journey through genealogy not only reveals the past, but also invites us to contemplate the future. If we accept that these connections to the Nephilim are legitimate, what does that say about our understanding of power and authority in society? Are we witnessing the continuation of a legacy that has lasted for millennia? Or are we merely observing the faint echoes of history? It's essential to recognize that while the notion of a Nephilim bloodline may seem fantastical, it opens up a dialogue about the nature of leadership itself. The stories we tell about our leaders and their ancestries shape our perceptions of their capabilities and legitimacy. By investigating these ties, we are not merely recounting history, we are unpacking the narratives that continue to influence our political landscape today. As we transition to the next segment of our investigation, we will turn our attention to the genealogical ties of the second president linked to the Nephilim. This analysis will provide further insight into the broader implications of these bloodlines as we continue to explore the intersections between history, power, and identity. With each layer we uncover, we invite you to reflect on the nature of leadership and the legacies that shape our world. If you are intrigued by the complexity of these connections and want to continue this exploration, be sure to join us as we delve deeper into the ancestry of these influential figures. What we uncover next may challenge your understanding of leadership and its historical underpinnings. Continuing our investigation into the Nephilim bloodline connections, we turn our focus to the second president linked to this ancient lineage. This figure, often regarded as one of the most influential leaders in modern history, presents a unique case study in the context of genealogical ties to the Nephilim. Through meticulous research, genealogists have traced their ancestry back, revealing surprising connections that challenge our understanding of leadership and lineage. Born into a prominent family, this president's lineage is steeped in history, with roots that can be traced back for generations. By examining historical records, family trees, and ancient texts, we uncover a narrative that suggests a direct link to the fabled Nephilim, beings described in ancient scriptures as the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men. As we delve deeper, we must consider the implications of this connection, not only for the individual, but also for the political landscape they influenced. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence comes from genealogical studies that have employed advanced methods to trace familial ties. These studies often utilize DNA analysis alongside traditional documentation, allowing researchers to create a more comprehensive picture of ancestry. The results reveal a lineage that aligns with ancient narratives, suggesting a potential connection to the Nephilim, a claim that has sparked both intrigue and skepticism among historians and genealogists alike. As we explore this president's family history, we find ourselves navigating through a complex web of ancestral narratives. According to some genealogical reports, their lineage is not merely anecdotal, it is backed by documented evidence stretching back centuries. This leaves us questioning, if these claims are valid, what does it mean for our understanding of political authority? Do such ancestral ties confer a sense of destiny or an obligation to lead in a specific manner? The historical context surrounding this president's ancestry adds another layer of depth to our investigation. Many historians argue that the significance of bloodlines in leadership has diminished over time, particularly in democratic societies. Yet, the allure of ancient lineages persists, often influencing public perception and the identity of leaders. If we consider the historical legacy of the Nephilim, characterized by their formidable presence and enigmatic nature, we are compelled to examine how such associations may impact a leader's approach to governance and policymaking. Moreover, this investigation raises critical questions about the narrative we construct around our leaders. Are we inclined to attribute their successes or failures to their ancestral connections? How do these perceptions shape our understanding of their capabilities and legitimacy? The president in question was known for implementing significant reforms and navigating tumultuous political landscapes. But could their lineage play a role in how history remembers their contributions? As we gather more evidence to support these genealogical claims, it is essential to recognize the varying interpretations that arise. Some scholars view these connections as emblematic of historical continuity, while others remain skeptical, arguing that correlation does not equate to causation. This difference in perspective underscores the complexity of our investigation, challenging us to question our assumptions about leadership and lineage. In examining this president's lineage in relation to the Nephilim, we must also consider the broader implications for contemporary society. If we accept that these connections are legitimate, what does that reveal about the nature of power and authority in our world today? Are we witnessing the continuation of a legacy that transcends time, or is this merely a reflection of our desire to find meaning in the narratives we construct around our leaders? To further illustrate these points, we can look at specific policies and decisions made during this president's tenure. Were there moments that reflected a sense of ancestral duty or divine right? As we dissect their leadership style, we may find traces of influence that suggest a deeper connection to this ancient bloodline. Perhaps their approach to governance was shaped not only by contemporary events, but also by the weight of history that accompanied their lineage. As we progress through this investigation, we will also explore the physical evidence and historical accounts that support the narrative of this president's Nephilim ties. We will analyze historical documents, public speeches, and personal writings to uncover clues that may reveal the impact of their ancestry on their leadership. By piecing together these elements, we hope to gain a clearer understanding of how such connections may have influenced their decision-making processes and interactions with other leaders. In our quest for clarity, it is crucial to remain open-minded and consider alternative interpretations of the evidence. The contrast between ancient narratives and modern understandings of leadership provides fertile ground for exploration. For instance, how do we reconcile the powerful image of the Nephilim with the democratic ideals that underpin modern governance? This contradiction invites us to reflect on the ways in which history continues to shape our perceptions of authority and trust in leadership. As we delve deeper into the genealogical connections of the second president, we will also examine the nuances that arise when comparing their lineage to that of the first president we discussed. What similarities and differences can we identify, and how do these shape our understanding of the Nephilim bloodline's influence on leadership? The answers to these questions will not only advance our investigation, but will also challenge us to reflect on the role that ancestry plays in shaping our leaders and their legacies. If you find this exploration of historical connections and their implications fascinating, make sure to stay tuned as we uncover more about this president's ties to the Nephilim bloodline. The intricacies of their lineage may very well illuminate a broader narrative about the nature of power, identity, and influence in our world today. What we discover next will shed light on the lasting impact of these ancestral ties and their relevance in contemporary governance. As we wrap up this segment, we prepare to transition into our next phase of exploration, where we will reveal the third president linked to the Nephilim bloodline. The layers of this investigation continue to unfold, offering a glimpse into the complex interplay between history, power, and lineage. Join us as we delve into the next chapter, where we will uncover further connections and implications that may reshape our understanding of leadership in the modern era. As our investigation unfolds, we turn our attention to the third president believed to be linked to the enigmatic Nephilim bloodline. This connection, like those of the two previous leaders we explored, invites us to dig deeper into the historical and genealogical threads that tie them to these ancient figures. The story of this president is not just about their political legacy, but also about what their lineage represents in the context of power and influence throughout history. To begin, let's introduce this president, whose name resonates through the ages, Franklin D. Roosevelt. His leadership during some of history's most tumultuous times has made him a pivotal figure in American history. Yet, behind his iconic public persona lies a complex ancestry that some researchers argue traces back to the Nephilim. But what does this mean for our understanding of his leadership and the decisions he made while in office? Roosevelt was born into a prominent family, with roots that can be traced back to early American settlers. However, genealogical studies reveal a more intricate heritage that includes connections to European aristocracy. These ties raise the question, could these ancestral connections have influenced his policies and approach to governance? The idea that a leader's lineage can impact their decision-making is not just speculative. It reflects on how historical narratives shape our understanding of authority and legitimacy. As we delve deeper into Roosevelt's genealogy, we encounter several notable figures in his ancestry. One such figure is John Adams, the second president of the United States, who is often cited as a distant relative. This familial connection adds a layer of complexity to our exploration. If we accept that these connections are more than mere coincidences, we must consider what influence such powerful ancestors might have had on Roosevelt's vision for America during the Great Depression and World War II. Moreover, we cannot ignore the implications of the Nephilim narrative itself. The notion that leaders may possess divine or semi-divine ancestry poses profound questions about the nature of power. Were Roosevelt's decisions during his presidency guided by an ancestral sense of duty, or were they shaped by the socio-political landscape of his time? As we piece together this narrative, we must also consider the historical context in which he governed, marked by economic hardship and global conflict. To understand the potential ramifications of Roosevelt's lineage, let's examine some significant decisions he made. For instance, his implementation of the New Deal was a transformative approach to address the economic turmoil of his era. Was this policy influenced by a sense of inherited responsibility? If we entertain the idea that Roosevelt's Nephilim bloodline played a role in shaping his worldview, we must also grapple with the broader implications for democracy and governance. As we investigate further, we will look at the physical evidence and historical accounts that may support the claims of Roosevelt's Nephilim ties. Historical documents, speeches, and personal writings will be examined for traces of this lineage. Could his rhetoric during crucial moments reflect a deeper connection to an ancient legacy? By analyzing his language and the themes present in his addresses, we may uncover clues that hint at the influence of his ancestry on his leadership style. It is also essential to compare Roosevelt's lineage with those of the previous presidents we discussed. While each leader shares connections to the Nephilim, the distinct differences in their approaches to governance beg the question: how do these variations in their ancestral ties shape their political ideologies? This analysis will help us understand the broader narrative of leadership and authority across generations. As we explore the evidence surrounding Roosevelt's ancestry, we must remain vigilant of the interpretations that arise. Some historians argue that the idea of a Nephilim bloodline is merely a symbolic representation of power, while others believe it reflects a historical truth that has been obscured over time. Understanding these differing perspectives will enrich our investigation and provide a more nuanced view of leadership throughout history. if you are intrigued by how ancestral connections might influence contemporary leaders. Make sure to stay tuned as we uncover more about Roosevelt's ties to the Nephilim bloodline. The implications of these findings could reshape our understanding of leadership dynamics and the legacies that leaders leave behind. As we conclude this segment, it is important to transition into the next phase of our exploration. We will reveal the connections between Roosevelt and the other two presidents we discussed, drawing parallels and distinctions in their genealogical backgrounds. The layers of this investigation continue to unfold, shedding light on the intricate interplay between history, power, and lineage. What does this all mean for our understanding of governance in the modern era? Are we witnessing a continuation of a legacy that transcends time? Or do these connections serve to highlight our desire to find meaning in the narratives we construct around our leaders? As we move forward, we will delve deeper into the implications of these ancestral ties and how they may influence the future of leadership in a rapidly changing world. Join us now as we transition to the next chapter, where we will uncover further connections and insights that may reshape our understanding of leaders in relation to their historical and genealogical narratives. The stories of these presidents are not just about their time in office. They're about the legacies they inherit and the impact those legacies have on the world today. The threads of history are complex, and as we unravel them, we find ourselves confronting profound questions about power, identity, and the nature of leadership itself. The concept of Nephilim bloodlines, particularly as it pertains to leadership, becomes even more compelling when we synthesize the connections drawn between the three presidents we've explored. Each of these figures, Franklin D., Roosevelt, John F. Kennedy, and George H.W. Bush, shares an intriguing genealogical link that may shed light on their leadership styles and the historical contexts in which they operated. As we revisit the threads of their lineage, we begin to see a broader picture emerging, one that questions the very nature of power and its inheritance. Roosevelt's legacy, framed by his Nephilim ties, serves as a fascinating entry point. Not only did he navigate the United States through the Great Depression and World War II, but he also implemented sweeping social reforms that reshaped the American landscape. Given his ancestral roots, one might wonder whether these monumental decisions were influenced by a sense of inherited duty or divine calling. As some interpretations of the Nephilim narrative suggest, the complexities surrounding his presidency, marked by economic strife and geopolitical turmoil, invite us to consider the implications of his lineage. Was Roosevelt's approach to governance a manifestation of an ancestral wisdom that transcended mere political strategy? Or was it simply a reflection of the tumultuous times in which he lived? Transitioning to John F. Kennedy, we find another layer of complexity. Kennedy's presidency was characterized by a youthful vigor and an idealistic vision for America. However, much like Roosevelt, he faced significant challenges, including the Cuban Missile Crisis and civil rights movements. The Nephilim connection raises questions about his leadership motivations. Was his charisma and determination merely a product of his upbringing, or were they influenced by a deeper ancestral narrative? Kennedy's famous inaugural address, urging citizens to ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country, resonates with the notion of duty that aligns with the legacy of the Nephilim. It compels us to ponder whether such sentiments are rooted in a profound sense of purpose, inherited from a lineage steeped in complexity. Next, we turn our attention to George H.W. Bush. His presidency, marked by the end of the Cold War and the Gulf War, also presents a unique perspective on leadership. Bush's connections to the Nephilim bloodline offer a lens through which we can examine his political decisions and the familial dynamics that shaped his worldview. As a member of a prominent political family, Bush inherited not only a name, but also a network of influence that extended beyond the conventional political arena. The implications of his ancestry invite a deeper inquiry into how these connections may have guided his approach to diplomacy and international relations. Did his Nephilim lineage empower him to navigate complex global challenges with a sense of historical continuity? Or was it merely a backdrop to the pragmatic choices he made as a leader? As we synthesize the stories of these three presidents, we must consider the broader implications of their Nephilim ties. What can we learn about the nature of leadership when we recognize that these figures may have inherited not just power, but a legacy that is steeped in myth and history? The common threads that connect them compel us to reflect on the dynamics of governance and the motivations that drive leaders throughout time. Are we witnessing the continuation of a legacy that transcends generations? Or do these connections serve to highlight our desire to find meaning in the narratives we construct around our leaders? The question of leadership in the context of Nephilim bloodlines introduces a myriad of interpretations. Some scholars argue that the idea of a Nephilim heritage is purely symbolic, representing the existential struggles of power and authority. Others contend that these connections are rooted in historical truths that challenge our understanding of lineage and governance. As we explore these differing perspectives, we are reminded of the richness of the narrative surrounding these presidents and the implications of their ancestral ties. the historical context of Roosevelt, Kennedy and Bush's presidencies serves as a backdrop for understanding how these leaders interacted with the world. Each of them faced unique challenges that required them to draw upon their inherited legacies in different ways. Roosevelt's New Deal policies reflected a transformative vision aimed at recovery, while Kennedy's call for civic responsibility mirrored the ideals of sacrifice and service. Meanwhile, Bush's leadership during a period of global change necessitated a careful balance between diplomacy and assertiveness. If we take a step back and consider the implications of these findings, we must grapple with the idea that the past continues to shape the present. The genealogical connections between these presidents remind us that leadership is not merely an individual endeavor. It is deeply intertwined with the histories and legacies that precede it. As we reflect on the influences that shaped their decisions, we may find ourselves questioning how these narratives continue to reverberate in contemporary governance. What legacies are being passed down in today's political landscape? Are there new leaders emerging who carry with them the weight of an ancestral heritage that influences their actions? As we conclude this segment of our investigation, it's vital to consider the open questions that remain, what stands firm in our understanding of these Nephilim connections, and what remains open to interpretation. The implications of these findings extend beyond mere genealogy. They challenge us to contemplate the essence of leadership itself. The exploration of these ancestral ties has opened up a deeper conversation about the nature of power, identity, and the responsibilities that come with leadership. What does it mean for our understanding of governance when we view it through the lens of historical inheritance? How can we reconcile the complexities of past narratives with the realities of modern leadership? As we continue our journey through these connections, we invite you to stay tuned for the next episode, where we will delve even deeper into the implications of these findings and explore what they mean for the future of leadership. The mysteries of lineage and power are far from resolved, and there is much more to uncover as we seek to understand the threads that bind our leaders to the past. The legacies that these presidents left behind are not just historical footnotes. They are interwoven with the fabric of our collective understanding of authority and governance. As we peel back the layers of these narratives, we are left with a profound sense of curiosity about the stories yet to be told and the connections yet to be made. So, as we move forward, keep these questions in mind. How do our leaders today reflect the complexities of their ancestral ties? And what does that mean for the world we live in? The answers may be waiting just beyond the next chapter of our exploration. As we wrap up our exploration of the intriguing connections between three world presidents and the Nephilim bloodline, it is essential to reflect on the key insights we have uncovered. Throughout this investigation, we have delved into the genealogical threads that link these leaders to an ancient lineage, prompting us to question the very nature of power and authority. The implications of these findings are profound, as they challenge us to reconsider our understanding of leadership in the context of history and myth. We began by examining the first president tied to the Nephilim bloodline, revealing how genealogical studies point to a lineage steeped in historical and mythological significance. The ancient texts that reference these connections invite us to ponder whether the narratives we accept as metaphor or memory carry deeper truths. Are these leaders simply products of their time, or do they embody a legacy that transcends generations? These questions remain at the forefront of our investigation. Next, we turned our attention to the second president, exploring how their ancestry parallels that of the first. The historical context surrounding their lineage deepens our understanding of the complexities of leadership. Each figure faced unique challenges, yet their ancestral ties may have influenced their decisions and the paths they chose to pursue. This interconnectedness raises critical questions about the nature of governance. How do the stories of the past inform the actions of today's leaders? The journey continued with our third president, whose ties to the Nephilim bloodline added another layer to this intricate web of ancestry. By comparing their genealogical connections to the previous presidents, we were able to identify common themes that resonate with the narratives woven throughout history. What does it mean for modern governance when the bloodlines of ancient giants echo in the leadership of today? The very notion compels us to consider the influences that shape our political landscape. As we synthesized the information gathered about these three leaders, we revisited the open questions raised throughout the investigation. What remains steadfast in our understanding of these Nephilim connections, and what aspects continue to elude definitive answers? The implications of these findings extend beyond mere genealogy. They challenge us to contemplate the essence of leadership itself. We are left with a profound sense of curiosity about how these ancestral ties might continue to impact future generations. Moreover, it is vital to recognize that the stories of these presidents are not isolated incidents. They reflect a broader narrative about power and legacy that pervades human history. The mysteries of lineage and authority compel us to consider the ongoing relevance of these ancient ties in shaping the political dynamics of the present and future. What legacies are passed down through generations, and how do they manifest in contemporary leadership? As we conclude this segment of our investigation, we invite you to reflect on the complexities that emerge when we examine our leaders through the lens of historical inheritance. The weight of an ancestral heritage can shape the motivations and actions of those in power. How have these Nephilim bloodlines influenced the decisions made by these presidents? And what implications does this have for our understanding of their respective legacies? In closing, let us ponder the intersection of myth and reality as we consider the stories that connect these presidents to their Nephilim ancestry. The narratives we have explored raise compelling questions. How do our leaders today reflect the complexities of their ancestral ties, and what does that mean for the world we live in? As we continue to unravel the threads of history and power, one thing remains clear. The past is never truly behind us. It continues to shape the present in ways we may yet understand. So, what stands firm in our investigation, and what remains open for exploration? The answers may lie in the connections we have yet to uncover. If you want more investigations like this that explore the fascinating intersections of history and power, make sure to subscribe. The mysteries of lineage and authority are far from resolved, and there is much more to uncover as we seek to understand the threads that bind our leaders to the past. As we move forward, keep these questions in mind and journey with us into the depths of history where ancient legacies await to be revealed. What will you discover next? The journey is only just beginning, and the exploration of these stories promises to continue to be as riveting as ever.